What's up guys, this is Massey. Welcome to another video. In this video I want to talk about function -1 over x plus 1, and we have 4 questions in here. The first one, it says write an equation to represent the vertical and horizontal asymptote, determine the x-intercept and y-intercept. C, state the domain and range. D, describe the end behavior. So we need to write an equation to represent the vertical and horizontal. Let's start with vertical asymptote. Vertical asymptote, we need to look for the denominator and we make it equal to 0. The denominator cannot be 0 because if the denominator is 0, the whole fraction is going to be unknown. So x cannot be equal to -1. So we have vertical asymptote to be x equals to -1. What about horizontal asymptote? Horizontal asymptote. In this example, the degree of the numerator is less than the degree of the denominator. So when x approaches infinity or negative infinity, y approaches 0. So gonna be y equals to 0, which is the x-axis. B, state the domain and range. Domain is gonna be xer. X cannot be -1. We had it before because we have vertical asymptote there and it doesn't touch or cross this vertical asymptote. What about horizontal asymptote? Horizontal asymptote is gonna be y equals to 0. So since it cannot be 0, we're gonna say yer, and y cannot be 0. This is gonna be the range, and that's the domain. Now the x-intercept and y-intercept, I basically skipped this one and I wrote the state and domain and range. Now let's go back in here. X-intercept, y-intercept. X-intercept is gonna be where y is 0. So the function we have is -1 over x plus 1. It cannot be 0. It doesn't cross the x-axis, or from the function you see that the numerator cannot be 0. So an A, not applicable. What about y-intercept? Y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. So it means that x is 0. We sub it there. -1 over 0 plus 1 is going to be -1. So 0 and -1 is the y-intercept. Now let's describe the end behavior. Describe the end behavior. It's gonna be, I'm gonna write the function again. -1 over x plus 1. And since it is negative, or numerator is -1 pretty much, instead of having here and here, we're gonna have this function because it's negative here and in here, and this is the y-intercept, which we got it as 0 and -1. So that's basically graph of this function. Let's check the end behavior. When x approaches -1 from the right hand side, y approaches -infinity. And when x approaches -1 from the negative side, from the left hand side, not negative side, from left hand side, it means that just a little bit smaller than -1, y approaches positive infinity. When x approaches positive infinity, then y approaches 0, as you see in here. This is getting closer to the x-axis, and for -infinity, if you have on the other side x equals to -infinity, y approaches 0. So basically that's the characteristics of f equals to -1 over x plus 1. We had the x-intercept, y-intercept, domain and range, vertical asymptote, horizontal asymptote, graph, and the end behaviors. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave me a comment if you have any question, and please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching and have a great day.